Hello, everyone. It's time for Share in the Chair, Sunshine Cathedral's midweek discussion that I have with a religious leader from a different one every single week. So far, eventually, I'm going to run out of people I know, and we're going to have to start recycling. But so far, a new human every week. And I'm Darrell Watkins, the senior minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. And today, our guest in the chair is the Reverend Linda Pantoja, who is a member of the Sunshine Cathedral, former board member of the Sunshine Cathedral, a volunteer minister at the Sunshine Cathedral, and the first Sunshine Cathedral person to sit in the chair for this live webcast. So, and we're going to learn about her and her ministry and her spirituality, which is very eclectic and rich and fascinating. So that's why she's here with us tonight. So welcome, Reverend Linda.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
And I was telling Linda privately just 2 or 3 minutes ago how much I love that background that she has, and it's fitting. It's fitting because it's sort of who she is, and what her training is. So let's get right into learning about Reverend Linda's spirituality and how it's evolved. So Linda, you studied metaphysics with Unity. I remember you taking some Samaritan courses, Samaritan Institute. It's the religious arm of the Sunshine Cathedral. Back in the days when we could all meet in the same room for things, and yes. We were taking classes. And you were in one of the classes, you were talking about that you started taking another class from I believe it was a divine science course from another school, and then also you were taking a Unity class from their SCE program, their spiritual enrichment education program. So you're taking all of these courses. You had about a year or 10 months, almost a year off because of you were off that year, or most of the year, maybe not all the year, but anyway. And so you'd filled the off time with study. You were taking all of these courses, and then you wound up taking a lot of the SCE courses, and then you applied those to a Samaritan program and completed a Samaritan program. And got ordained as a divine science minister. So you just immersed yourself that. I believe there was A Course in Miracles involved in that, and some of that along that. So you just had at least 1 year, maybe more, where you were just immersed in metaphysical studies. What drew you to New Thought metaphysics?
Yes, thanks for that question. So I would say the short answer is it's a constant seeking for a place, for that universal message where my spirit and my soul will rejoice, constantly in love and belonging and inclusiveness. It's this latent knowing that there has to be a better way, right? And that was a quote from Helen, the scriber of A Course in Miracles. She was challenged by this knowing that there had to be a better way, and I think that's what has driven my curiosity throughout the years. My upbringing was Catholicism, and I must say, unfortunately, I was eventually. It took me many years, too many years probably, but I finally felt that I was discouraged by the laws, by the dogma of the institution. But I still knew that I was spiritual, that in some way I was godly, and I needed to nourish and feed that part of me. And Catholicism was falling short, right? When in my young years, I was a student in Catholic schools, and I fell in love with Jesus. I was mesmerized by his message and his example. And then it was such a contradiction, because even though the church had the intention of reviving or that message from Jesus and his example, it was falling short. And one way it was falling short was that we were not living the message, the divine message, by excluding the LGBT child of God or children of God. So I felt outplaced, rejected, excluded. And I said, there has to be a better way. I just didn't know what it was. It got to a point where I started to believe maybe I am just an idealistic, a dreamer. Maybe I'm aspiring for a world that is only available in a utopia. Is that how you say it?
Yes, utopia.
So still in that confusion, I was loyal to my upbringing. I taught children the catechism, right? Catechism. I decided to enlist as a marginal missioner many decades ago. Yeah, while studying my first year of theology in college. In my mind, I was going to be a religion teacher, as a missioner around the world, living the message that I thought was true from Jesus, but that I couldn't find in the normal world. So I guess I had to go around and find it. So, but one day during this theology year of classes in college, one of the professors, who happened to be a priest, said that the story of Adam and Eve was not true. It was symbolic. And coincidentally, that same day, an hour later, in a different classroom, a second priest is teaching us, teaching quote unquote, that the story of Adam and Eve was literally true, that it had happened. Snakes talking and everything, right? So I don't know. It was an aha moment in that conflict. And I found myself, it just hit me. I'm like, what in the world? The truth is found within, not outside of me. This is just not happening. It has to be within me. So I wasn't sure if I had fully understood what my heart was revealing to me, but it felt right.
Yeah.
So it was like that small voice today, we would say, guiding me away from that path. So blame it on Adam or Eve, or blame it on the priest. But for over a decade and a half, I did not walk inside a church again.
Wow. I suspect that second priest knew better. Why he said that. I suspect he knew better.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Puerto Rico?
I got to Puerto Rico when I was about 10 years old. I'm an Army brat.
So you were everywhere.
Yes. So that was.
Were you in other countries other than the U.S. Growing up?
Panama was the.
Panama.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you or your family, were you fans of, and he's on my mind a lot lately because he just recently, about a year ago, died, I think. Walter Mercado, was he part of your world at all?
I watched.
Because he was sort of a mystic. He was a mystic,
Yes, but when I saw him in the shows, I truly liked him, but I wasn't looking at him from the spiritual perspective. It was more just like a showman. But I liked him. I was one of his fans.
He was entertaining, but he was, and he seemed like he went for the show value or whatever. But I think he was also probably pretty deep. I think he was sincere. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so really and this isn't surprising. This is a story a lot of us share. Your search was pretty lifelong, really, and I guess ongoing still, really. But even in Catholic school and then in university, you were asking questions, and those questions led you outside of institutional religion for a while, but your heart and your mind didn't turn off. And so I guess that led you back to churches. Now, I've known you from Sunshine Cathedral. Did you attend a church before Sunshine Cathedral?
Unity. So if we fast forward to 2008, I slowly walked through the doors of a Unity church in Puerto Rico. And that is literally slowly. I was afraid. I was so afraid it was the first church out of the Catholic and Evangelical church that I visited. Um, I actually drove in front of that Unity Church for at least 3 different nights and 3 different Sundays. And I did not step out of my car. I just wanted to see what I could see and see if I could hear what I could hear, because I had been told that those people were going to try to make me believe that I was a mini God. So I was afraid, but the small voice came up again and said, give up that fear. Everything was going to be well. So as you say, Darrell, I was saved from salvation. And it's probably because of Unity teachings that I'm here today speaking with you. That beginning, right? And then after that, just Sunshine Cathedral was the icing of the cake, right?
So you had your personal sort of revelation, and you had your little time in exile, and then you found a New Thought Metaphysical Church, very positive, very affirming. And what people were warning you about is that you would learn that you are actually one with the source and substance of all that is, that it is your source and substance. Sounds a little scary maybe at first until you listen to it for 2 days and you're like, wow, well, of course. It's very encouraging. It relieves a lot of fears and gives us hope and joy. And then you wound up eventually at the Sunshine Cathedral. We're so lucky. And then so you do a course of studies and you become a divine science minister, and you do weddings and funerals. You do chancel ministry at the Sunshine Cathedral. You help with sometimes with the Course of Miracles and all of this. But that wasn't the end. That you decided almost as soon as you ordained to go right back to school. And you went to a school called Sacred Journeys, and I forget if it was a 1 or 2 year program, but you immersed yourself again in a whole new course of studies to become an interfaith minister. So why don't you tell us a little bit what interfaith ministry is and how that religious pluralism of an interfaith ministry informs your continuing faith journey? First of all, what is interfaith ministry?
Yes. So one of the founding principles in interfaith is that the truth is one and the paths are many. So that acknowledges that there are different ways to learn to connect with the divine, and an interfaith mentality is open to all of that. Its philosophy is never instead of, always in addition to. Never instead of, always in addition to. Interfaith basically seeks to promote harmony, to promote peace and love among all people. It doesn't matter what their faith is. It kind of tries to focuses on what's common, what's universal in all these teachings, and respect and understand that there are some differences, right? But an interfaith minister then is simply an ordained person of any faith who understands and has learned about the different dogmas, the rites and rituals, the prayer practices, celebrations of these various religions around the world, and chooses to be of service to people of all faiths, basically. So an interfaith minister can perform sacred ceremonies specific to the particular religious or faith base of the people that is asking for the service, or baby blessings, weddings, funerals, etc. So it's just that they're ordained for being able to serve anyone in any faith, if possible.
Now that philosophy doesn't sound very different from Unity or Divine Science or Sunshine Cathedral.
Not at all.
Right. So so you grew up in a very Christian world, and then embraced a very metaphysical understanding and expression of that. But now you've been exposed to all of these other paths too. What are some practices from other faiths that now are part of your own spiritual walk? Like, is there anything from Sikhism or Buddhism or Hinduism or Baha'i or Islam? Is there anything from any of these traditions that enrich your faith right now?
Yes. So basically, I would mention around different, I mean, there are different practices that I currently incorporate in my spiritual life. And one of them is a gratitude journal. So every night before wrapping it up for the day, writing in a gratitude journal what I'm grateful for that day, right? Trying to highlight at least three things, but to tell you the truth, my list is always long. Also, in New Thought, we have Emmett Fox recommended or wrote The Golden Key, and that's replacing your thoughts of problems by thinking about God, right? And that's something that I do as much as needed. So this kind of reminds me of the Philippians 4:8, right? That verse that says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, think about those things. So when I think if I have a problem and I'm thinking about it, I remember the golden key and I think, okay, so I should replace this thought by thinking about God. But what is God? What do I think of? And then this verse comes to mind and I say, okay, yeah, let me think about what's right, what's true, what's possible, what's pure, what's love, and I do that. When I'm out in nature through the indigenous religious, the earth-based religions, I've learned to, I mean, I already liked and loved being out in nature, but now I feel compelled to go and hug a tree, right? And thank that tree. It's like a nature worshiping type of practice, and just blessing the ocean water if I'm taking a few steps on the shore and wetting my feet on this earth-based water. And from Catholicism, Saint Francis always had my love, and to this day I recite his instrument of peace prayer. It's part of my daily practice. Saint Francis, I love Saint Francis. Who doesn't, right?
Exactly.
And
Gay people seem to be really drawn to him, and some people think he was gay.
yeah. Then 10 minutes of meditation minimum a day, and I do my mantras. I use a small mantra bead for mantra chanting as well.
So if I just mentioned some religious figures, maybe you could say something about them, not really giving us a lesson, just what comes to mind. Like if I said Elvis, you would think flashy or talented or Southern, like something would just come to your mind if I said Elvis. So let's do that with like religious people, or even when I said Walter Mercado, you're like, oh, he was kind of a showman. So what comes to your mind if I say Lao Tzu?
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, the first step, right?
I love that.
Yes.
And Siddhartha.
Which one?
Siddhartha, Buddha, Gautama Buddha, Shakyamuni. He has so many titles, but the Buddha.
Yes, I know. The Buddha. It's about awakening. It's about nirvana. It's about the silence.
What's the difference, do you think, between being awakened, which is Buddha, and being anointed, which is Christ? What do you think is the difference?
I don't think there's a difference. I think it's the same. It's just a different name, just like Krishna is God in for the Hindu community, and we call God God, or Holy Spirit, or Divine Source, or it's just one more name.
Let me see. Let me think if I can. Bahula.
Ah, Baha'i. Uh, the Chicago temple in United States, which is precious, and I love the Baha'i.
Mhm.
Is that how we pronounce it? Um, there, nothing's perfect, and you told me this, right? Because I think I vented with you. Oh, I love Baha'i, but I was a little bit disappointed that they're not too uh, accepting of homosexuality, right? So that brought me down. But other than that, they're almost perfect. So.
Yes, yes. And I think they would, I think because they're so love based, I don't think they would be mean to same gender loving people, but they have a very specific definition of what they think marriage is. And so they would never, at this point of their evolution, marry same gender loving people. And that may be cultural or, whatever. It's not my job to analyze them. But yeah,
Yes.
if you have one flaw, I mean, you're so much ahead of most people, right? So
Yes,
just sadly,
absolutely.
their flaw impacts us. But
Yeah. By the way, speaking about marriage, did you hear about today's news?
yes.
Yeah, Pope Francis.
Did you ever think you would live to see a Roman Catholic Pope? I mean, maybe some renegade priest or a retired bishop, but the Pope. And of course, he does. He's not messing with the sacrament. He's saying civil marriage, blah, 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 but still,
We'll take it.
I'm saying that he is, I mean, and the Roman Catholic Church, it's a very old institution. I mean, thousands of years. And so for it to move, I mean, it moves like a glacier. And this was really kind of a speed up move. And it's not a policy, it's just a statement. He just, he's just, but he's a very influential person and his statements carry a lot of weight.
Oh yes, this
So
is the beginning of a new chapter in history for sure.
I hope people in Jamaica, I hope people in Uganda and Nigeria, I hope people in Russia, I hope those words echo throughout those places. Roman Catholics in Kentucky and West Virginia, I hope those words echo throughout the world and help people be a little safer, and
Amen.
and religious people be a little kinder. It's kind of ridiculous that we have to ask religious people to be kind. You'd think it would go hand in glove, but maybe this will help religious people be kinder. I hope.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
So you and your wife are both ministers. You and my husband are both ministers. I love clergy couples. How has of course, you have your own things. You do your things together. You do your things, and then even together, you're part of larger things. Reverend Margarita's on the board of Divine Science Federation, and beloved in that organization. We all have a little Sunshine Cathedral group in Divine Science, don't we? We have our own little club.
Yes.
So, but how has but I say that to say that obviously you are a same gender loving person. And so how has religion helped or hurt you? You did say as a kid or as a young adult, you felt unwelcomed in the traditional church as a same gender loving person. Beyond that, how has religion helped and or hurt you as a same gender loving person?
Yes. So hurt, basically the worst was that denial of not just my humanity, but also my divinity. So that's the biggest hurt. Um, but it has helped in terms of the faith-based communities that are out there, the few of them that do welcome us, for instance, Sunshine Cathedral, right? Our community. Um, so through Sunshine Cathedral, I regained that dignity, not just me, Margarita too. Through MCC, she started an MCC in Puerto Rico, and she's the one who brought me to Sunshine Cathedral, of course, when I moved to Florida. And the message of Sunshine Cathedral has been uplifting, or is uplifting, is uh, resurrecting, is just life changing. And in that sense, then obviously Sunshine Cathedral is not a religion; it's a faith community, and in that sense, it has kind of made up for the hurt of the past, right? Because it has revealed the truth of who we are, and 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 brought value and worth to my persona. So it's a win-win in the end.
There is, we've heard from uh, gay men in Africa, straight allies in Tennessee, trans kids in the United Kingdom. I mean, we've heard from all kinds of people from all over the world, and happy to have found us, and I'm sure other such embracing, loving, welcoming communities get this too. But we get these from the LGBTQ plus community all over. Oh, wow. Thank God I stumbled over you, because this is a whole different way of looking at things. This is affirming, this is encouraging. One of those, some such person may be watching right now, or catching us, in a day or two from now. To that guy in Kenya, or that kid in rural England, or that lady in Tennessee, what is something you would say specifically to them just now?
I love you. I
Mhm.
love you. We love you. You are loved. You're a child of God as anyone else. And there is value. You are sacred. You are divine. You are entitled to divine heritage. And you don't give up. Don't give up. It will get better. Find a community. Come to Sunshine Cathedral. This is the community that is open to everyone. It doesn't matter what was your faith in the past. Be revived with the message of inclusiveness, and uh, positivity that Sunshine Cathedral has. Nurture yourself, feed your soul by listening to our message, and this will be the door that may open your path, your journey to even better things. You are God's miracle, not God's mistake. And that's something that we hear every week in Sunshine Cathedral, maybe more than once. And you deserve to hear that.
Yes, yes. I have the privilege and the honor and the responsibility of preaching a lot. I have to stand up to a mic and say words to people, and all ministers have to do that from time to time. I just have to do it most of the time. And not all ministers like that. Some ministers really like to focus on administration or pastoral care. Some people are just great chaplains. Some people like to focus on teaching. They're really good teachers. And so whatever your special gifts are, I'm just always reminded of, I believe it was St. Francis, who said, preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words.
Use words.
And so I use a lot of words because it's just sort of in my job description. But there are people in the world who really are preaching all the time, sometimes in private conversations, sometimes in just the way they live their lives. They're preaching all the time, and when necessary, use words. And Reverend Linda Pantoja is one of those people. She has spoken on our days before. She has been a lector. She has given stewardship pleas and talks and offering things, has helped with classes. When it's time to speak, she'll speak up and does a beautiful job. But you don't have to wait to hear her speak to hear her preach, because that's just her life, as you've seen tonight. So thank you so much for doing this. You were a little anxious because you were the first Sunshine Cathedral person, but you're who I wanted to be the first. So thanks for doing it. And we have one more question. All the questions were just about you except this one. This is the question everybody gets. I can't wait to hear your answer. What happens when we die?
I I've never done that, right? So I can only guess. But no, I've read a lot of stories and heard a lot of stories from people that have had near death experiences, and it sounds quite promising, quite beautiful, quite hopeful. So I just think we transform. We are love, and love transforms. We are energy, and energy is transformed. We transform, and we go home.
Nice, nice. I love it. Linda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you, and now a whole bunch of other people are falling in love with you too, just because you shared yourself tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Bye bye.
Bye.